And we're live. Tell your friends you're listening to the Verhoeven Effect podcast. I'm Conlon.
And I'm Nathan.
We have another very special episode. We have the 1993 movie Body Snatchers. But just before that, we need to finish up some work from last week.
Yeah, sorry everyone. I didn't change wardrobe in the last 5 minutes because God knows I don't have enough black shirts now. We had a car crash in my front yard, fueled by drunkenness and stupidity. So yeah, I didn't really get to properly sign off the Shaun of the Dead, which was a very good movie.
So 1 out of 5 stars. What are we giving Shaun of the Dead?
Oh, 5 for zombie comedy.
Okay.
I liked it more than Zombieland. I thought it had more heart than that because I know there's been several attempts at this zombie comedy thing, but this one resonated with me the most.
Yeah.
Of all the ones I've seen.
And then sending the probe into space. What scene from Shaun of the Dead are we chucking into space?
Probably the last showdown at the Winchester.
Okay.
Because that defines everything that works for the movie. Like everyone's working together, and in classic zombie movie fashion, all our favorite characters are slowly being killed off. or quickly, depending. I think that encapsulates everything about the movie that it's trying to get across. And it veers into action, scary territory for a few seconds.
Yeah.
Then kind of pulls back out. So yes, I would have to say that would be that.
So this week we got the 1993 Body Snatchers. Nathan, do you have a history with Body Snatchers?
Well, I watched all the movies
Oh, okay.
at some point, not recently, but
Oh, okay.
I wish I had that much time.
I think I've seen Puppet Masters before I saw any Body Snatchers movie. I think this is the only Body Snatchers movie I know. I know of the weird open mouth scream thing, but that's all I
Yes.
knew. So
I've seen the 1956 Invasion of the Body Snatchers, which is cool for a 50s B movie
yeah,
because that takes place in a small town. That's the communists are coming
okay,
type movie.
yeah, because I always knew that. Well, is that well? I guess that's Verhoeven Effect. Is that was intended by the writer? Is that this
Yeah,
is
oh
just,
yeah.
Okay,
It's like the others are coming with their alien belief systems and they're ruining the harmony of our small town.
okay.
And that was in so that was in 56. And then in 1978, which now it's like, oh, we live in San Francisco and it's not the outsiders are coming, it's like we're losing our humanity in this giant city.
Yeah,
And so we go from big city to small city, or town to big city, and it's more about consumerism and alienation.
okay.
It's the one with Donald Sutherland. That's where the first like open mouth screaming thing. I don't remember if they did that in the 56 one,
Okay.
but we do see that in the 78 one. And then we have Body Snatchers, 1993, with the unlikely Abel Ferrara directing it. And I remember I caught this home video after work in 1995,
Okay.
and like not knowing much about it, it was like, oh, okay, that's interesting because this, instead of being set in a big city, is set on a military base.
Yeah.
Which, like, you kind of think it's like, well, the army's going to be able to take care of this, and it's like, well, yeah, they're going to participate in it. So that was that kind of fed off of a different paranoia, which was kind of the 90s angst of don't trust the government and the military because they're in on it, which kind of dovetails nicely with a lot of thinking that was going on in the 90s. That's the one we'll be talking about tonight.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, it's
then,
also about like the individual being more, needing like to be cherished more than the group.
and then there's a Cure for Insomnia version called The Invasion that came out in 2007, which starred Daniel Craig and Nicole Kidman.
Okay.
It's like, this is going to be a great movie. It sucks. It's boring.
Okay.
I actually had to watch it 3 times because I wake up and somebody's screaming like, "What's going on?" Oh shoot, I got to rewind, and so it did not hold my interest. This one did though.
Well, it's also this is like an hour and 27 minutes, which might be the shortest movie we've ever done.
Yeah, I was surprised. Like, it's over. And 20 minutes of this movie was different scenes and people flying around in helicopters.
And there's long credits, so like I don't know if that was like intentional, but this also seemed to be like Abel Ferrara kind of chained to like a studio in a way. So I'm not sure how much that got in the way or not, or he was being more, conservative with his stuff because he's mostly
Oh,
known for like being out there with his stuff and being like a lot of his movies. There's like weird stuff to it that's kind of interesting. Here, this movie felt less Abel Ferrara weird, but there's still interesting elements that I guess I could attribute to Abel Ferrara's directing. But
yeah. Yeah, a lot of the he's kind of like a violence guy because he's most known for King of New York and Bad Lieutenant.
yeah,
That's what we would know him for. I know he did some 80s like slash and drill kill type movies, and there was even I think his first movie was a porno. It's called The Nine Lives of a Wet Pussy. I didn't watch that one, but um, I know this movie was like his first sci-fi, not his last, but this was like his first foray into that, and the stuff he wanted to, what he wanted to do, because he did a kind of an interview about. Oh, he has the best Conan O'Brien interview you'll ever see. It's a guy coked out of his mind or whatever,
yeah,
and they was talking about like, hey, who they're talking about Bad Lieutenant. And like he's asking about Abel Ferrara's movie. Just look up the Conan O'Brien interview. But one of the best things is like, so you had Harvey Keitel naked in that. Whose idea was that? And he's like, well, it wasn't mine. Just he was a combative interviewer because he seems like a punk rock guy from New York. Is
yeah,
like kind of his pastiche or whatever. Because he did a hilarious commentary on King of New York.
okay,
Every woman in the movie, he's like, I almost married her on set. You wouldn't believe how hot she was. Look at that one. Look at you could just fall in love all over again. It's like everyone, and it's like they're talking about the movie and like the great shootouts in it and some of the great scenes. A lot of those long tracking scenes with Christopher Walken,
yeah.
who could do just the crazy staring at the camera stuff. Like he's one of the best guys at it. They're just doing a whole subway track scene about, and then some woman would walk by. It's like, yeah, check her out. So he's just nuts. And but in this movie, he wanted it dark. That was his thing. He goes, I want it to look dark all the time.
Yeah.
We're gonna do some daytime shots, but I want the dark to be dark. I want people to like stare out windows. He really said he wanted to foster paranoia.
Yeah.
And as the dailies were coming in and the editing was coming in, the studio was getting less and less excited what was going on. And they assigned him an editor, which immediately he clashed with. And so it was kind of an interesting set. And he didn't want gross out violence in this, but he wanted gross out special effects, like practical special effects.
Yeah.
Wanted as horrifying of visuals you could get in a movie this size with this budget, and try to keep it, in a rating range where people could see it.
Yeah.
Because I he didn't come out and say the thing, or at least not anything I could read, but it seemed like he wanted to go for that kind of. And instead of just like blistering violence, which is what he's usually known for, he's like, I want gross out horror in this, like over the top. But this was like, I think the biggest budget he'd worked with.
Yeah.
So.
And it's a great cast too. Kind of unconventional cast, but
it's a crazy cast.
No, oh crap! What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, we haven't had one of his movies before, but he directed one of the Miami Vice episodes that we watched, which I think he directed a few of them, but they were pretty interesting. I think it's the one that had like Giancarlo Esposito in it.
Yes, I think that was, yeah.
There's something like a boat and comedians or something like that.
I think in his commentary on King of New York, like he leaned on Michael Mann a lot.
Okay.
Because he really liked Martin Scorsese. He wanted to work in that vein.
Yeah.
And cause like I said, he's a New York guy whose his mom was an Irish immigrant and his dad was an Italian immigrant. So he's in that whole genre. But because he really likes like Stanley Kubrick, Martin Scorsese, and Michael Mann he worked with a lot. And he was always talking about, I'd lean on Michael Mann and he would give him like ideas. Like King of New York, you can tell if you ever watched that movie, it's like, that seems like a Michael Mann kind of movie.
I've been meaning to watch it, but I figured we'd probably just do it for the show sometimes. So.
Yeah, we could do that. It's a cool movie. It has it definitely has that. Now that's from that's from 1989, 90.
92 was the year before this. I
Okay,
think.
but it kind of still has that like that neon color palette and
Yeah.
the suits the guys are wearing, but it makes sense because they're all like gangsters.
Oh, sorry, it's 1990. So yeah,
Okay.
right on the edge there.
Yeah, he did a lot of. There's a crazy commentary for that. That's the one I was talking about, where it's
Yeah.
like, I fell in love on set. Everyone's like, why are you here doing this commentary? It's like, because they gave me $5,000. That's why I'm here. You know? All kinds of stuff like that.
Yeah, this is my first time watching it. The only time I was aware of this movie was Kevin Smith talking about it, and they like, "Where are you gonna go?" scene, which he I believe he misquoted it as being Abel Ferrara saying that, but that's Meg Tilly saying that.
Yeah, it's the scene from the movie.
Yeah.
It describes. It actually builds it makes the paranoia in the movie. It actually raises the stakes of the movie.
Yeah. No, it's a great scene. So
it's probably the best scene in the movie.
Yeah. Which I thought, like, oh, Meg Tilly, I think I know her. Like, I knew she was sisters with Jennifer Tilly. Is probably more famous. But then I look at Meg Tilly's like filmography, and she's like not really in a whole lot of movies. Because I guess she like quit acting to be a mother for some time, and then she had like some TV show for a couple seasons called like Bomb Girls or something like that about World War II women working on bombs and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
That was like 2013 or something like that. But yeah, I thought I knew Meg Tilly from other things, but maybe I just recognized the name. Do you have any other Meg Tilly things that you recognize? Like,
I'm trying to think of what. I think she was in a town, or she was in a movie in the 80s where they're putting something in the water and everyone goes nuts. It was like a TV movie.
Okay.
She was like one of the teenagers, I believe in it. I think it was in the early 80s.
Okay.
So, what else did she do? I remember she was in Agnes of God. She was one of the nuns.
I don't know what that was. So.
Oh, that's basically a movie. It's like a mystery movie with Jane Fonda in it.
Huh. Okay.
And it's about what do they call it when you're starting, like is it novitiate? Anyway, it's someone wants to be a nun, and it's a convent in I think it's in Canada somewhere, like in Quebec, where people speak French. It's got to be in Quebec somewhere, and it's like a murder mystery of like who killed this person. And we brought in a detective, which was paid by Jane Fonda, to figure out who killed someone. And yeah, it's kind of interesting. I don't remember all of it. I remember watching it for a while. She was in The Big Chill too, but she was like way down the list.
Yeah, our latest thing, she was in the Chucky TV show where she plays herself.
Oh, okay.
Because her sister plays like the bride of Chucky.
Okay, yeah, that's
which
right.
That whole Chucky series is now like metaverse, like unto itself. So it's so the actors and the people playing the people are, and it's all in the same universe.
I think she was Brad Pitt's wife in War Machine too. That's the fictionalized one where he was General Stanley McChrystal, but they called him something else.
Oh, I never saw that. Okay, that was a Netflix one. Oh, man,
yeah.
Or did we watch that? I can't remember that one. I think we watched that for that Netflix thing, and I completely forgot what the hell that was.
We might have.
Yeah. Because that's maybe like the oldest, like, Brad Pitt has allowed him, except for Benjamin Button, has allowed himself to look.
Yeah.
Because he's like 61, but he still looks like he's like, 35. I mean, at the wrong angles. He's like, oh yeah, Brad Pitt's age, but he also like seems to be able to eat whatever he wants, and he still smokes. So that's just pure genetics going in his direction. I mean, he still might work out 6 hours a day, but he probably doesn't have to. Because I saw him in that F1 movie. So
yeah,
like he was probably in that movie he's supposed to be his age, so he's like 60 years old in that movie. But it's a Brad Pitt 60, so it's a difference. Also, that movie is it's not as dumb as expecting it to be, but it's still like you couldn't do that. but it's fun in a way because they have him. They have. I mean, they do the thing of like it's a low level team, and the only way they can be successful if they make breaks happen and if they catch breaks. That's the only way they're winning. So they're not beating other teams on pure performance. They're beating teams on just happenstance.
Yeah.
And so like one of the first things they do to just score a point is he keeps going out there and intentionally like making other cars run into his front wing, so that puts debris on the track, and then that safety car has to come out and everything bunches up. And he does it like 3 times in a row, and it's like they wouldn't allow that in an actual race, but also whatever, it's fun, I guess. um and then also there's like, and that scene where you see in the trailer where it's like, we're gonna build a car for combat, like that scene is stupid but in a different way, because what it ends up being is he's like, we can't follow cars in dirty air, we need to change that, so we need to redesign the car to go to chase cars in dirty air. And then that just that and then that what that means later on is that they still suck at qualifying, but they don't lose ground when they're behind a race car. But like, if you can't go fast in a straight line, you're not going to be behind a race car. So I don't know, whatever. So, but they make it in the movie, they make it seem like nobody's ever thought to build the car to follow another car, and it's like, okay, that's like, but you know, it's meant for a wide audience, so whatever. So
Yeah.
um oh yeah, Meg Tilly, and that's who we were talking about. Oh yeah, who's the written by? Yeah, so this came out February 18th, 1994. I think I have written as 93 because I think it was limited release before, and then I think they put it out in January to die. So
Yeah. Yeah.
so yeah, but yeah, this is early February is the date I finally have here. So yeah, they didn't believe in it. So
Yeah.
yeah, director's Abel Ferrar. Oh man, who's this guy? The cinematographer is Bojan Bazelli. Is he from, like, from New York or something like that?
He's from he's from the former Yugoslavia.
Oh, okay, all right.
So Montenegro.
Oh yeah, he works with Gore Verbinski a lot. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did almost all of his movies. He did Mr. and Mrs. Smith, so he does a lot of good-looking movies.
He did that that dumb movie we like, the sci-fi one about fighting ghosts called Spectral.
Oh, okay, yeah.
The coolest dumb movie you'll ever see. It's like, this looks so amazing.
He did King of New York with Abel Ferrara.
Yeah,
so that makes sense.
Did, that's right. Also did California. Wow. Okay.
Okay. Huh.
Guy's done some good stuff.
I don't know if I really like appreciated the cinematography in this movie though, because seeing the trailer for King of New York, that looks very striking, and like you said, like there's like strobe lights and mirrors all over the place, and this is kind of like shadowy boxes and people looking through like blinds.
Well, I think this was like Abel Ferrara really like leaning in, trying to control everything, from what I understand.
Yeah,
because he wanted. It's like, oh, because they actually filmed this on an abandoned military base in Alabama.
Okay.
So they just got, oh, free set. It's an actual military base. It's been abandoned. Cool, because that's why they all this crappy housing and stuff. And they didn't have to build that set, but have a lot of the power they had at night was whatever they could hook up to generators. And it's like, well, let's use that. Let's make it just really dark. And this was the era of film, so that's fun because it's going to be dark no matter what. So that was kind of the goal.
Written by Stuart Gordon and Dennis Pioli.
Yeah.
It was ampersand, so they're a writing team, and then the word Nicholas St. John. So the first team, they worked on like Reanimator, which I've always heard is like a cult classic. I've never seen it.
Yeah.
And then like, what was it like? One of them directed Fortress.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, one of them's like associated. Oh, one of them has story by cred on Honey I Shrunk the Kids. So,
okay, cool. So that's where all the money came.
And then the other guy, Nicholas St. John, he was a writer on Kings of New York, so he must have been like an Abel Ferrara guy. So,
well, Dennis Pioli is playwright too, because he did Reanimator the musical.
Okay. Um, but yeah, this makes sense because those are sci-fi horror movies, so get them here for this stuff. I don't know what From Beyond is. Am I supposed to know the 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 the, the, the cover art looks familiar? Oh, this must just be Reanimator people making another movie.
Yeah.
Because this is H.P. Lovecraft. Because isn't Reanimator an H.P. Lovecraft thing?
I don't. Yeah, actually, I don't know
Yep,
much.
it is. Yep, he's
Okay.
listed as a writer, so he didn't write it, but it's based on one of his stuff. So.
Yes, it is. H.P. Lovecraft, classic tale of horror. That's weird because I really like Lovecraft, but I like his like actual writings. So
Yeah.
I'm not really a horror movie guy,
Yeah.
especially if it's like, let's put a person in a blender. It's like I don't want to see that. Closest I come to that, even The Thing, sometimes it's like that's a little much.
Yeah.
But I do appreciate that.
Yeah, but that wasn't violence for violence sake. That was
Yeah.
like the circumstances of an evolving being versus, trying to save humanity. So.
Yeah, it's like, what if a virus came to life and like act was the same size as you? It's like, oh, okay, that's a horrifying. Yeah, but I don't like stuff like just let's explode people.
Yeah. The cast is Terry Kinney, Meg Tilly, and Gabrielle Anwar, which is like, she's basically the star of this movie, but I feel like it's like this and Burn Notice are her big things. So,
That's all I really found.
yeah. I mean, she's been working forever, but it's like, I don't know how her other movies that must be bit parts, but I don't I guess she's in like one of the Three Musketeers movies or something like that. That must have been more significant because they always splash 4 movies as to like what they're probably would be most well known from, like on their Internet Movie Database page, and I think that's one of them.
I think she was a love interest in Scent of a Woman too.
Okay. Yeah, it's also weird because here she's like, well, they just say under 18, so I'm guessing 17. She was like in her 20s when she did this, but she does look like baby face young in this movie, which is kind of upsetting. So
Yeah, especially there's a scene later on. It's like, this is supposed to be a teenager.
Yeah.
What's going on here? Okay. All right, Abel, I get it. Fell in love on the set.
But she was great in Burn Notice. It just felt like she's good here. Like she should have been in more things, but I don't know like the circumstances around that. So
Yeah.
And she's Irish. I believe so, right? Or she is in Burn Notice, and then she isn't. Like I think they ever stop using her Irish accent.
She is British.
Oh, she's British? Okay.
But her father his name's Tariq Anwar. He's Indian. Okay. So she's British and Indian. Interesting. Wouldn't have guessed that. But yeah, she was like a former Irish paramilitary in Burn Notice, right?
Yeah, yes, that's why she had the accent there, so.
Okay.
And then a bunch of people will follow up,
Oh yeah.
Got Forrest Whitaker popping in for a role.
Yeah.
Because he seems to be almost everywhere in the 90s, so.
Yeah, he does some of the most interesting roles.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's never, when you see his name pop up somewhere, it's like, oh, there's going to be one scene that's good, and it's going to have Forrest Whitaker in it, at least, so.
Yeah.
Because at some point we need to get to Ghost Dog Way of the Samurai, because that is just
Love that movie.
It's such an interesting, weird ass movie.
Well, it's just like, hey, Forrest, you want to do an improvisational movie about a hitman? Yeah. All right, go. And he just interacts with homeless people and stuff. And
Yeah.
This is great. It's like, how does this work? Why is this working? Probably because of Forrest Whitaker.
Yeah. Well, and his whole like devotion to like the samurai behavior and his being out of step, where it's kind of like this combination of hip hop and samurai culture, things like that.
Yeah.
And he's basically, is he homeless or is that like his cover? And he's also an assassin. Like it's so weird.
Yeah, you don't really know because a lot of things are really improvised.
Yeah.
In the movie, because I was like, this is so because that came out like right at the end of the 90s.
Did it? Oh, I thought that was like mid 90s. Let me look at it.
That came out like 90.
Oh, not you're right, 99. So
99. Okay, yeah, because I remember it was like one of the last ones, and it's like this could be cool, because I like Forrest Whitaker, and it's like how much of a Jim Jarmusch movie is this going to be?
yeah.
It's like, well, it's pretty much it is, but like Forrest Whitaker carries it through.
I mean, yeah, his movies are mostly like dialogue heavy, and this was more like it was trying to follow a formula, but it was like almost like a Mammoth movie in a way.
Yeah,
So,
that's what I liked about it. It was just so, and it just drew you in.
so I guess we'll get into it. I'm not sure if I spaced this out correctly in the act structure because again, this is an hour and 27-minute movie.
Yeah, it's like a TV movie length. It's
Yeah, that's kind of what this movie has a lot of TV movie energy going on here.
seems like it's like the Sunday night movie. Dun 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 dun, or whatever that was.
Yeah, because I think somewhere I think it's like the minimum a feature length movie can be is like 80 minutes. So
Yeah.
so it's right in that line. But of course, there was always the other side of that, where it's like, well, if a movie's short, then you can cram it. You can cram more like show times in at a theater. But obviously, that wasn't the decision here because they just sent it out to die, so they didn't really care. So, we get Act 1. We get credits flying through space. They're like red titles, and then the letters get taken over by dark letters. There's like kind of like the weird where like what the H is like inside the C for inexplicably or whatever. So I'm not sure if that had a deeper meaning or I missed that or just like, hey, this will be neat. So, the letters are flying through space, which I'm guessing this is also simulating the journey of these space creatures or whatever is going on here. So then we finally get to a flying shot on Earth, where it looks pretty cool. Like the cinematography, this almost looks like it's rain falling down, but it's just like a camera whipping past a forest.
Yeah.
Then we get voiceover from Marty, played by Gabrielle Anwar, which again, this was a contention thing too. I think they wanted to do it without a voiceover, and then they just eventually had to capitulate. Because I think
they actually got the minimum amount of voiceover. There was a lot more voiceover in this, but they cut a lot of it out.
Yeah.
As I recall, just because the editor was like, "No, but this is going to be like a reading assignment. Like nobody's going to like this. You sell it this way."
I mean, it is kind of essential to like establish the Marty character as being the main character, and then it does have this interesting thing of like a voiceover implies a future.
Yeah.
Which we kind of had the same thing with Fallen, which they used quite interesting there. Here, I don't think they take advantage of that or even thought to. I think it's just used purely a crutch for the audience. Because there would be an interesting thing of like, this implies they got away, but the end is a lot more bleaker than that. So it's like, is this the voiceover of a pod person or what's going on here? But they don't explore that whatsoever. So.
No. Towards the end, it starts coming together real fast.
Yeah. She's explaining that her dad is a military inspector and he's being assigned to the southern sector. So I guess we put immediately. Did you immediately interpret this as like, Airy X vibes, even though this was before that?
No, it's why? Because I knew he was actually an EPA guy.
Yeah.
And they said because he has Washington D.C. license plates.
Okay.
And on his Volvo, and so he's like, oh, he's here to bring that environmental communism to Alabama.
Yeah.
Someone had a line like that.
Yeah.
I think that was Arlie.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
And who is a general, and like I always love it when they make generals. It's like, if you're a general, you're not an idiot. But every movie, like generals are stupid. It's like, those are some of the smartest people in the world. But okay, it makes sense.
He was a general in Alabama, so
I don't know. Alabama general. Yeah, it's just a bunch of nonsense.
Every once in a while, that weird voice, that weird South Park commercial pops in my head for the action figure of Alabama Man.
I'm a man. He's got the action waist where he can slap his wife.
Yeah.
They really had it in for somebody from Alabama. Yeah.
Because I can't even remember the context for it. I think they just cut to a commercial and it's Alabama Man.
Yes, they were pissed that somebody from Alabama.
um, yeah, they pull into a gas station / farm, which I guess these places exist, but I don't think I've ever come across a place like this before.
No, I've never made it that deep into the South. That might actually be a thing down there.
I mean, there's one like this in Deliverance as well, which I guess that's maybe what they were going for or something.
That could be, yeah. Maybe it was probably an homage to the Deliverance.
Yeah. Marty goes to use the bathroom and immediately there's a black army man in there that pushes her up against the wall and says like, "They get you in your sleep." And then she runs out saying like, "He held a knife to my throat," which I'm pretty sure he didn't have a knife to her throat. And then the good old Southern boys grab some shotguns and go to the bathroom and nobody's in there. So
we'll find him, Missy.
Let's see here. Yeah, they look for the army guy, but he's gone. Then they pull into the army base. They go to military housing and go in. Marty finds a dried out gecko. Which, yeah, I've never lived on an army base, but this seems like they always seem appropriately abandoned because there was like that thing years ago where it's like, if you were at Lejeune camp for from this time to this time,
you're
ever...
funny, yeah. Filled your body with lead at some point. You are mostly lead at this point. You might be entitled to a settlement.
And there's like so many other settlements like that. That's all I was thinking out with this movie, which I don't know if that's what they intended, but it just maybe it had foregoing consequences to it.
Well, I mean, it's so bad. It's because like Joe Biden's son died from being exposed to stuff in the army. It's like, it's not just the enemy that kills you in a war zone. It's your own side. We're just going to burn shit randomly. And it's like, that's like everything's trying to kill you.
Yeah.
It was like seems like when you join the military and you go into like an active war zone, it's like death comes from 300. It's like either the enemy's trying to do it or we're trying to do it or somebody. And that was the son of like a sitting senator. And it's like, here's your office right next to a burn pit. That's insane, but okay.
She's miffed. She has to share a room with her brother. Marty puts headphones on and goes for a walk, and then she's like immediately surrounded by like military people. It's like, hey, you shouldn't be around here. So, and then Jen, who's just a character that we quickly introduced, she's got like a red Mustang.
Yes.
And it's good. Yeah, it's convertible, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And then she just picks her up and like, we're getting out of here. And she's the rebellious general's daughter. So, yeah, because she's got like spiky hair. She's got like a leather jacket and like earrings and all this stuff. So, they get back to Jen's house and she asks after her mom, and her mom's just passed out smoking and drinking. And then Jen takes a smoke and then like puts it out in the ashtray and then takes a drink of the vodka in her mom's glass and just leaves her sleeping. Which she says some fun line about like, well, statistically, I'll be a smoker and an alcoholic too, as she smokes and drinks. So.
Yeah. And supposedly, like, she is a teenager.
Yeah, oh, okay.
Establishes that her dad is the general that runs the base.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this is why dad doesn't sleep, because mom's going to burn the house down. 'Cause she's smoke in her hand.
I guess that isn't mentioned, but do the pod people like not sleep? Is that like their advantage?
I don't actually know. It seems I know they don't. They seem like they don't have feelings, but then they deliver lines with gusto. So it's like, okay. But yeah, I think they're just like supposed to obviously not be emotional.
Yeah. There's a lot of confusing things about the aliens, but this movie more goes with like the emotional effect of what this would do to you rather than like the operation of it, because it is weird that like because it's implied they have like a hive mind, but clearly that's not the case, or else they would know when people are fake or tricking them. So
Yeah, they operate under a different biology
yeah.
because people don't melt when they're killed. There's something like, shouldn't they give off a smell? Yeah, it's never explained.
And you're like, and I'm guessing they take over the memories of the people they take over. Like I guess that's to be assumed, but I have no idea. Because I think that's the only reason, like, the general's in charge, because he just knows more than everybody else. But they're
Yeah,
also like, it's they're all working to, we're all one people, no individual and all that stuff. So all the the clear communism angle, but here it's more about like the preciousness of individuality, which that's capitalism.
yeah.
um Yeah, and we get mention of Jen's dad being an insomniac, and then we fade out on the mom, and then we hear some weird squishy sound, so presumably that's her being taken over. And presumably the general is a pod person the whole time, or what do you think?
No, because when he initially, the first scene we get with General Platt and the Terry Kinney character, he's drinking whiskey. The general is.
Oh, okay, right,
Because
okay.
remember, the pod people don't do destructive things.
Right.
Like they don't drink liquor or smoke, and that's how people pick up on, like, yo, wait, they're
Oh,
not
okay.
smoking anymore. What's wrong with these people?
Then there's a quick scene of people entering a house and being suspicious. I don't think we know any of these people. I think it's
No.
just getting like an army guy go like, "What are you doing here?" or something like that. Then we cut to
A lot of people staring at other people in this movie and staring out windows. There's a
yeah.
lot of scenes of, it's like, you look outside and someone's looking right back at you, which is weird. But again, this is like the problem of the actual physical darkness that a lot of this movie shot in.
Yeah.
Like, it's a lot of fast cuts. What's going on? We don't know. It does kind of pay off later, because then once you figure out how rapidly this is happening, it's like, okay, this makes sense.
Yeah.
This is like half these people were human when our main characters were introduced. A quarter of the way into the movie, it's like, oh, okay, something's clearly wrong with almost everybody at this point.
Then we have Steve. This is Terry Kinney, who I most know from Oz. Here he's kind of stilted in this movie. He's very good on Oz. I don't know if other movies or stuff he's been in that you recognize, but
This is, yeah, like I said, Oz is my touch point for him.
okay.
This, he doesn't seem he doesn't seem like to be as engaged.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's like,
Well,
did they make
this is
changes to where his daughter was supposed to be the main character.
yeah. Like I feel like
Mohicans like the year before this. So,
okay. Well, I
yeah.
feel like that's what the voiceover betrays, because I think this movie at some point wants you to think he's the main character, and then that turn would be like a big surprise.
Yeah.
But you had the voiceover, so you immediately know who the main character is, and they never betray that. So they never play around with it. That like maybe she's not. So.
Yeah.
But you see them building up a thing where it's like, oh, he's the scientist. He's discovering something. These chemicals do weird stuff to the pod people that they're worried about, and then that's just not an issue for the rest of the movie. So yeah, Steve is fooling around with his wife when the kid comes in scared to go to sleep, and then there's some commotion outside. I can't remember which this is. They always have commotion somewhere, and it's quickly quelled, and so you presume that's just pod people doing things.
Yeah.
Are they called pod people, or is that a separate thing? Is invasion of the pod people a different thing, or is that just like nomenclature that's also associated with invasion of the body
I
snatchers?
think that's something that's just becoming associated with it.
Okay.
Because I know in the 1950, what is it, 56 or whatever,
Yeah.
in that version, when the pods are formed, it looks like, how would I say this? It's not like completely vulgar. It looks like a dinosaur. Oh, what would you? It's like a dinosaur giving birth. It's like a dinosaur's like vagina opening,
Yeah.
and everything's very wet and bubbly, and yeah. So it seems a little different. than what this is.
Yeah, they're just these little mossy pods that you can carry by hand.
Yeah.
So had that being the end of Act 1, so we Act 2, Steve speaks with General Platt, played by Arlie Ermy, who isn't pleased with Steve here to oversee the storage of the base chemicals, which
Yeah.
presumably these these are just like chemical weapons, or what are they supposed to be? Just like other, are they like?
This isn't like yeah, it's kind of implied it's like chem warfare,
Yeah.
but the EPA wouldn't be dealing with that. So I think these are just chemicals used around the base.
Okay.
Because General McKinney's kind of like, well, we know how to handle this. We've run this base. If you just leave them be and don't disturb them, they won't disturb you. It's kind of a weird thing like that.
Then we cut to Steve gets a water sample, and this is where we have Major Collins. He's a doctor with the Army. This is played by Forrest Whitaker. And then he's wondering if chemicals are the cause of like paranoia in the patients he's seeing.
Yeah.
Which we don't know.
Yeah.
There just seems to be a general weirdness in the air that some people pick up on, and it makes them very uneased, and then they get paranoid about it. But that never really gets fully explored. Like the most you get that with is with the kid Andy, because he just gets to see things simply as like, this is different. My mommy's dead now, and all that stuff. So. Which I can't remember, is Carol is, yeah, because Marty says he's her half brother, right? So
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. The mom is like the stepmom.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Carol's the stepmom. Yeah.
Well, I didn't know if the thing when he said his mommy's dead, if that's like, oh wait, Carol's his mom, or was that like the other mom, and then that's had a whole different meaning. Okay,
No, Carol's his mom. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, which that has an interesting, because I doubt is that explored in any other Body Snatchers things about like the mom being replaced with a stepmom and that being like a whole kind of thing.
Not that I remember.
Okay, because that was a good like addition.
Yeah, I don't remember that being a theme.
Then we cut to some army personnel bring boxes to the house. They were supposed to have like scientific equipment, which again everyone's acting weird, so you don't know if this is just like weird army personnel or if these are pod people. I guess eventually there's a pod in the house, but I assume that's just what Carol brought or whatever. So I don't think they're in the boxes here. But maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, it's never. Yeah, there's something about the architecture and the way this film is put together where it's like things just happen.
Yeah.
And it's not really like, it's like, how did this happen? But when in reality, it could have happened at any time.
Yeah.
They could have pre-planted that stuff in the house before they moved in. You just never know.
But I mean, that's kind of the thing about Abel Ferrara movies, where it's more about like the emotion and the characters, and not really about the plot and setup. So. But when when you're devoid of Abel Ferrara weirdness, then you're trying to look for sense and stuff, and so maybe that's. Although it seems like, for what this movie is, it seems to have got pretty favorable reviews. So
yeah,
I don't know. Like Roger Ebert liked it. So
yeah, everyone who talks about it is like, oh, this was a good remake of a movie that's like remade every 20 years now.
Yeah. Yeah, I forgot. I haven't seen the Tron Ares movie, but I hear good things. And like, and somebody wrote a post about like, it's 1980, Tron fails at the box office. It's 2008, Tron fails at the box office. It's 2025, Tron fails at the box office. Like,
yeah, never can win.
and Nine Inch Nails did not overcome Daft Punk for a better soundtrack. So.
Oh yeah,
that's still a good soundtrack. It's just that Daft Punk Tron soundtrack is amazing. So
yeah, that one was crazy.
And like this is a Nine Inch Nails album, but it's more of like a score than it is a Nine Inch Nails album. But whatever. So you can still have a good time with it. It is put under weird circumstances where it forces you to compare things rather than just listening and enjoying music. So. Then we cut to there's the daycare where kids are finger painting at school, and there's a very good scene where you have like all the kids paint the same exact thing.
Yeah, they paint like pink intestines,
Yeah,
all the exact same image.
yeah. Except for Andy, who paints a different blob with different colors.
Rorschach test.
Yeah,
So I see hell, and everyone else is very disapproving, including the teacher.
yeah, but then no one's saying their disapproval. It's just implied and
Yeah.
fully felt by by Andy, which is kind of weird for what is like a 4-year-old child or something like that.
Yeah, I'm not sure. He's not very old. Yeah.
um, but then we immediately cut to like Andy is just walking through the base by himself, like very confidently, to the point I thought he was already a pod person. Where it's
Yeah.
like, he's
Andy's in charge.
And then an army guy just grabs him up and takes him home. And it's like, oh, okay. He says he's running away. So it's like, oh, okay. So he's picking up on the bad vibes going on because of the invasion of the body snatchers. So yeah, they get back to the house. This is Tim, the chopper pilot. He hits on Marty and tells her the only club on the base, which is called Top Gun.
Yeah.
And then we cut to Jen picks up Marty to go out, so they go to that bar. It's like dead and quiet, but then like Tim is there, but like how it's like framed at first is like it's completely empty, but then there's like it's like half full or whatever, but everyone's drunk and passed out except for like Tim and Steve I think is the other. Or no, Pete's the other guy.
Pete, the other guy. Yeah.
Yeah,
everyone else is like completely shadrack.
Yes.
Like they drank until like they've lost control of their bodies. It's like what? And there's MPs coming in and just gathering them up.
But Jen implies here that it's usually like way more happening going on here. So, but that's not what's going on. So we don't get an A/B comparison. So that's the best we get. Some MPs come in and just take a drunk person away, and then Marty recognizes one of the MP from the bathroom earlier in the scene, and like he seems different now. So like, well, that's weird. Like this guy was paranoid, and now he's just grabbing alcohol, drunk people off the bar. So they're in a bar. They're supposed to be drunk. Then we cut to Tim and Marty go out for a walk. Marty talks about missing her mom. I think she says stuff about like her mom being replaced. So that's like good. Not foreshadowing, but like parallel kind of thinking with the sci-fi story that's going on here. Says her mom died when she was 7. Then they play Never Have I Ever, and then this is where she learns like he had to shoot someone in Kuwait for some reason.
Yeah.
And then Tim goes in for the kiss, and they kiss. And then the camera just like wanders off in the woods, and then we see people grabbing mossy pods out of the pond, and they just load it in the truck. So the army personnel of pod people are starting to grow, and it's becoming its own manufacturing line of pod things. Which I don't know. I guess this stuff just lands in a pond somewhere, and then they grow, and I don't know how they replicate or how any of this works. But
something happens.
It's not explored. It's not necessary. So you just know that's.
We never know in any of the movies how it starts.
Yeah.
It's just like slowly spreading through society.
Yeah, because it's not about. Yeah, because it's all about like how it affects the people in the movie, not just that it's happening. Then we cut to Andy goes to wake his mom, and she's just a husk that just turns into dust.
Yeah.
Which this is like, I guess I don't know how this works, but it seems to be like, because there's like multiple times that Marty's getting taken over, and it seems like the other pod thing gets almost fully formed. And I guess it's the last moment where they just fully just drain the person or something. We never see that full progression, but it's kind of weird. It seems like you can go 80% and nothing will go wrong, but if you go 1% farther, then you're a husk. So,
yeah. Again, we're not really familiar with
or
explaining how the mechanism works, other than it's like horrifying.
And then Carol the pod Carol just walks out naked out of the bathroom, full bush here. If you're looking for that thing. So. There's some like sex stuff here, but this isn't exactly like a sci-fi sex thriller from the 90s or anything like that. It's just kind of like an added element.
Yeah.
And I don't know if like it's like sex is supposed to be feared, or if it's that like the aliens don't understand it, but they still know to use it to their advantage. um, because there are several like sexual manipulations throughout this movie for what they keep saying is these things don't have emotions. So that's
Yeah.
working counter to like the things stated out loud. But again, these things aren't.
Essentially, they're like a plant
Yeah.
that like somehow replicates a human form.
Yeah. Andy runs out screaming, saying that isn't mommy, and then Steve admonishes. Oh, then Tim gets there with Marty. I think Jen's there too. I can't remember. But like Steve admonishes Tim, saying like, "You're aware you're giving booze to an underage girl," and he's like, "I was not, sir." So it's very formal here, and then Steve and Marty argue. Then we cut to it's dawn, and Carol's up, and she hands out the trash, which presumably this is what's left over of former self, and it is. And this is like a repeated thing in the movie. And then when you eventually figure out, oh, I think we saw a scene of this before this even happened.
Yeah.
So it was just kind of weird. It's like, who hands a bag to the garbage man in the morning?
Yeah, usually you just throw that shit by the curb.
It's like, well, now you know. Let me see. Marty's restless at the breakfast table. Like her legs keep like hitting the breakfast table as it's like going up and down. And then she says she can't wait till she's 18. Then Steve basically just dares her to run away. It's like, well, there's nothing keeping you here. And then we get Andy saying again, like, my mommy's dead. So which I guess for a child actor, like he seemed pretty young. He did good with what he was given, which usually that's.
As far as Marty wasn't like, hey, that's stolen valor. It's my mom.
Then we cut to the warehouse of chemicals, and we just have like black drums with skulls on them, and then the workers are moving around some chemicals, and they very precariously, and then it falls off the pallet. And was this giving you nightmares, Nathan?
Yeah, these aliens don't know how to handle barrels. There's specific lifting and rigging things you can do that you basically clamp up on that and you just smack it and make sure that it's tight before you try to pick it up with anything.
Yeah.
I don't know what kind of drum handling technology they had in the early 90s, but the stuff they have now is like real good. But yeah, drums with chemicals like that, they can weigh up to 300 pounds.
Okay, yeah.
And if it's full of acid or something costly,
and there's even room in there. I guess it can slosh around and the weight balance will be weird. But
now when you first of all, you stack them on pallets, especially if it's chemicals. You put them on pallets that have an absorber in them.
Right.
You don't stack them like pyramids. They're not structured. This is again more Hollywood. Just like Hollywood thinks you can buy fully automatic weapons and guns, grenade launchers and stuff. This is another thing that Hollywood, they get material handling and what do they call that, hazmat, all wrong. Yeah. That's suicide. You would never do that. Maybe the military could operate under an exemption, but I doubt.
Yeah, get that done, soldier. Yeah. It's like, okay, I don't know what I'm doing. It's like, did I ask you if you knew what you're doing?
The stuff they handle's even worse.
Yeah,
it's like worse stuff. So yeah, no, this was like silly. It's like, oh, you're just trying to kill people. Okay, cool. Today we're going to play death by 43 gallons. It's terrible.
But everybody is in like a hazmat suit thing.
Yeah.
Although they just have face masks on, so their skin's still exposed on their face. So. But the one of the barrels falls, hits a guy, splits his suit open, and then like he never moves again. We see like his skin like bubble up in weird ways, and then people are like, he's fine. Which I don't know what that meant. It was like, did a pod person just die, or is this a real person that just died? And I have no idea. So,
yeah.
Then we cut to Marty goes to Jen's house, and Jen is suspicious of her mom because her glass has water in it rather than vodka, and her mom stopped smoking, or somebody else started smoking. But anyways, Jen is suspicious, and then she's going to play bridge, and like, yeah, she doesn't play bridge, so it's like, then we cut to Taps is playing as they lower the flag, and the General Platt gets updated on the incident, which he seems nonplussed. So like, You think he's now? This is, or is he drinking whiskey in this scene?
No, he doesn't drink in this scene.
Okay, so you
So
think
you can
nah?
tell he's like totally checked out, or
Okay,
he's an emotion. He's a pod person.
okay, that's why he isn't really reacting to the report of somebody dying.
Yeah, it doesn't mean anything. Well, one person dead and like 10 people are like in some kind of medical facility or something, but we don't know what that really means anymore. It's
Yeah.
like they're just being potted or something.
Steve gets a chemical sample off the suit of the guy that got injured or is dead. We don't know. Steve doesn't know what it is in his own analysis, and so he sends it off to somebody else to be analyzed, which you figured that would be a thing, but nope, that's the end of that.
Never hear about it again.
um, Andy again says they get you in your sleep, and like if you sleep, you die. Which, that's I don't think that's necessarily. Is that in the other ones as well? The whole like don't go to sleep.
Yes.
Angle?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because that's why I believe. Yeah. Because that's why the characters like. That's why people start going into further and irrational decisions.
Yeah.
Because if you're not being awake for 3 or 4 days is bad. We all have bouts of insomnia, but if you're like having an existential crisis also about it's like, oh yeah, you're going to start doing crazy stuff. I think that became more of a thing in the Daniel Craig, Nicole Kidman version.
Okay.
One or both of them are physicians, so they can give themselves like stay awake drugs.
Okay.
You think they stay awake for like a week and they start just like becoming psychotic.
Yeah.
So as I remember, like I said, I fell asleep watching that time. So,
but I mean that's just like a good angle to go with. I think that's most effective with like the Nightmare on Elm Street movies.
yes.
But it's like you're not just sleeping and dying. You're sleeping and being turned into like a murder art piece.
Yeah.
So
You're not gonna just like, well, death is an escape. It's like, no, I'm gonna be like torn up I'm gonna fly into a cement mixer. Yeah, crazy stuff.
Marty takes a bath and she falls asleep in it, and we see a pod above the ceiling like grows tendrils and starts making its way to Marty.
Yeah, she's being attacked by spaghetti.
Yeah,
Well, not attacked, but
just,
it's crawling up her body.
It needs to get into her mouth and nose to download the information, presumably. So.
Yeah, directly from the brain.
Which this stuff isn't necessarily like scary or terrifying, but it is gross.
Yeah, it's disgusting. Can you imagine waking up? It's like finding worms in your mouth and nose.
But it's stealthy because she doesn't notice.
Yeah, so. Something's like giving a signal to like don't ignore or don't pay attention to this.
Then we cut to sterile. Carol gives Steve a back massage. Then back to. Meanwhile, yeah, we see the tendrils start to go in Marty's mouth and nose, and she's still just asleep. Then we cut to the pod, and we start to see stuff like growing inside the pod. And then meanwhile, Carol has a pod on Steve, and he's all like strapped up, with all the spaghetti in his nose and mouth. Then the pod monster is like grown into like another Marty, and it falls into the like through the ceiling onto Marty, and that's when she wakes up.
Yeah,
and she like pulls all the stuff. And she jumps out of the bath and then goes to get Steve, and then there's a less formed pod Steve under the bed that just kind of like almost dies immediately. We never see this other pod Marty die, but what we see later on, that's just what happens. Like if they aren't fully formed and they just like wither and die. So
yeah.
Then Carol goes to make a call and says like it's in Sector 7, or we need to like pick up in Sector 7 or something, or Sector C where they are. And this is where we get the delivery of like, where are you gonna go? Like, where are you gonna run? Where are you gonna hide when there's no one like you left? It's a great scene that perfectly encapsulates what's going on here, to bring up the fear of like being when everybody around you has changed and you realize that nobody else is like you.
By the way, I found out in research Meg Tilly actually wrote that line of dialogue.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, she wrote that as well.
Huh.
Yeah, look, the best thing in the movie,
Yes.
It's like, oh, this actress did it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's like there's a reason why you can see why Kevin Smith talks about it. It's like it's such a well delivered scene. So and it's so simple, but also like it's curious because it's malicious and like insightful, um, which I guess that's kind of what these things do. But like, really, they shouldn't have emotion if they're following through on everything here. But they, at least they know how to like use emotion against people. So I don't know. But yeah, Steve, Marty, and Andy just leave, and this is where we get like she walks up to the door, points at him, and does the open mouth scream thing. um, and then like it's great, see, because it's like pretty much just straight out of a zombie movie. You just see because it's like dawn, barely dawn, like dusk or whatever. Or wait, no, that's when it's going down. So yeah, it's dawn, barely dawn, and you just see in the background because it's got like a pretty long lens. You can see like out of focus, but you see all the people running out of their houses, gathering up to chase after them. That's a very effective visual. Which I don't know like where their car went, but they just like just run. Like
Yeah.
Steve grabs Andy and then they're just running. Which these people never catch them, so it's like I guess pod people don't have good cardio.
Yeah. Oh, they're just plants, you know.
Yeah.
It's,
then there's like a moment where there's like you see some resistance as like people start shooting at the pod people, and it's like, come on, get. Then we cut to Tim hears gunfire and starts heading out. Then he gets surrounded by people, and like Pete is like his friend, and then they try to like get him. They keep telling him to like just go to sleep, and then but then they start introducing the syringe, so that starts being an element where like they're just gonna give him drugs, force him to sleep, and then pod change him over. But Tim is able to get away and runs off. So that being in Act 2. Act 3, Steve gives Marty a watch and says he's going to go try to find a way out of here. Which I don't know, is that watch ever helpful or used throughout this movie, or is this just one way it's like, here's a watch, I'm probably going to die, so that's really the emotional...
Yeah, I think that's it. That's like a lot of things that don't pay off in this movie. That's a cool concept. Where are we going with that? Oh, nowhere.
Well, I mean, I guess in the 90s, like, if you're like in danger, having like things like a compass and a watch or whatever would be helpful, so rather than having nothing. So so he says he's going to try to find a way out of here. We cut to Steve goes to Major Collins' office, who's just suspicious of the person on the phone he's talking with. Like, how do you know my name? I didn't tell you your name. And he's just like downing like amphetamines here, stuff like that to stay awake. And then Collins pulls a gun on him, and then they have I don't think he's suspicious of him. Just like he becomes less suspicious of him because he's like, hey, you can have a gun too. But then Steve kind of like skulks away and hides in one of the offices. And then General Platt comes in, and a bunch of other pod people, and they try to convince Colin to go to sleep. And this is where they mention about like their survival across space and like working together rather than individual. That's the only way they survived. So that, again, this is kind of like alluding to a hive mind thing, but that's not, doesn't seem to be actually be the case here. It's just kind of like everyone pulls in the same direction for reasons, like just for survival, I guess.
People do anyway. You're just doing what we're doing, but we're not stealing people's bodies.
And then Collins just shoots himself in the head, saying, "You won't get my soul."
But now it was funny how no one in the room reacts. They're just kind of like, "Oh, okay." It's like on to the next thing.
Well, yeah, it seemed like they really wanted, because I think there must be a transfer of information whenever they take people over. So I feel like they thought, hey, this guy's going to be really important information, and so they don't play it out exactly, but it did seem like they were kind of like bummed that he killed himself because they would have liked that information for themselves, but I guess they'll do without. So, we cut to Steve collects the kids. They drive off. Steve says, "Don't show any emotion. They can be fooled," which is interesting because this is what they do later on. But what we learn is he is a pod person now. So it's like, why would they say that? But I don't know. It's whatever.
Yeah.
This is the dilemma of the movie. If you don't know who's a human or not, so you got to play with that. So however you want. So, Marty is suspicious of her dad and stops the car. Tim shows up. Marty is telling him to shoot him. Steve gets shot. Which at first it's like, oh, he's bleeding blood. He must be a real person. But then they have his body like decompose quickly and implode on itself. It's like, okay, he's a pod person. All right. So he must, we don't see it. He got grabbed somewhere, fully transformed and turned into dust. And now there's a pod Steve. Now that pod Steve's dead. Now the Steve doesn't exist at all anymore. So.
And Marty's pretty ruthless about her dad. She's like, shoot him. Take a chance, just shoot him. It's like, whoa. That's actually pay off later because it's like, oh, that's her character.
Yeah.
As soon as she goes into survival mode, like anyone could die.
They take off in a car. More pod people give chase on foot. Tim heads off to go start a helicopter, and then Pete and some pod people have a conversation with him, and like he says something like, I fucked your girlfriend to look for emotion, and he just plays it still, and that's where like, well, I guess they're satisfied and they leave. So this is like an utterly confusing scene, because I guess from a human's perspective, it's like obviously he's playing the fool or whatever, or he's playing the part, and it's like, why would they believe him? They asked him, where's he going? He says, I have a mission, but they don't know about it. So maybe this is just like, they aren't a hive mind, so you can fool these people, but that is just this. None of this seems convincing. No one should have been convinced by, or they're just leading it on. They're letting them go, whatever. So, but
well, yeah, it does create like a kind of paranoia, but it also establishes like they don't have a gestalt. They just kind of are a team.
Yeah.
They are a team. They are still individuals. They kind of don't like that, but they have to be because they're not of one mind where everyone knows what the other one's thinking and doing. And it's like, we can detect deception very easy.
Yeah. But also this brings up like the idea that like, okay, they can't tell. It's like the only way they can tell if humans are is if they have emotions.
Yeah.
Or react too emotionally. And but like they can't like biologically tell anything. There's no like smell or anything that gives that. Again, these are plants. Maybe they don't have taste or smell or any of that stuff. So, Marty and Andy get grabbed by some people like in medical trucks. Then Tim follows it in a helicopter, which again the pod people aren't suspicious of.
Yeah, helicopter just searchlighting following one specific vehicle. It's like, yeah, that's okay.
Then Tim walks into a hospital where we see the process of people getting sucked dry by the pods. He finds Marty. Her pod person wakes up and like it's like basically fully formed. And then she's naked, so she's like, don't. And then there's like a hesitation for a moment. It's like where it's like, oh, is this like a just trying to seduce him? It's like, look what you can have right now. And then he just undoes the tendrils, and like that thing just immediately writhes in pain and presumably dies. So
yeah.
So it's like a download. If you don't get 100% of it, it doesn't work. So
yeah, there's no partial pod people.
Oh, that would be terrifying, though.
They kind of did something weird in the 78 version.
Yeah.
Like his friend, somebody, I think it was a psychiatrist or whatever, like he was holding his dog and got attacked by a pod when he fell asleep. And so it's like his dog, it's like a dog with his face on it.
Huh, okay.
Barking. It's a really weird scene. It only happens once and you don't know why. I got to assume something like that happened. But yeah, so there is like mutated pods in the 78, or there's one mutated thing in the 78.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah.
Very The Fly.
But this scene is like, this is weird because if you follow the arc of the movie, it's like we just had a 17-year-old girl naked on the screen trying to seduce someone fully naked.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't think I could get away with that nowadays.
No.
That's his older daughter who had to come home.
A college student,
Yeah.
She doesn't know what to do with herself.
I even thought that during that scene. It's like, wait a minute. Remember when she's in high school and she's like making out with a attack chopper pilot who's obviously not in high. That's not a high school job.
No, you have to be a college graduate to be a chopper pilot. So presumably he's at least like 24 years old or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So.
It's like there's all kinds of bad things, but it's it's a different time, different values.
You had to get married however way you wanted in the 90s. It's still expected of you.
Start pounding out kids. It's gonna be good.
It only gets
out.
And the only reason he's able to disconnect her is that there's a guy who's like a large man who's resisting, and they have to all go tackle him and like give him drugs. So.
Yeah.
And like yeah, like the other pod Marty isn't able to like scream and like give them away or anything like that. She just immediately dies essentially, or writhes in pain or whatever. Then we cut to we see General Platt just sending trucks with alien pods to just like all over the other army bases all over the world.
Yeah.
Which is funny because again these don't have a hive mind. He's like Tulane, Alaska, and then it just heads off like they have any fucking clue where that is.
Yeah, fuel for that thirsty truck, Alabama to Alaska. That's going to use a lot of fuel.
Yeah,
You get 3 miles to the gallon if you're lucky.
Yeah,
Like,
I don't know. It'd be more conspicuous because like I don't know how long that chopper's flying around for, but it seems like it's flying around blowing up trucks for like a week. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Tim gets Marty out of there, but she says like I'm not leaving without Andy, and then they see Jen, but then she falls for a ploy where Andy tries to entice her emotionally. She says like Andy's looking for you, and then she turns around and goes whispers where, and that's when Jen like does the open mouth screaming thing, and everyone runs after them. They hop in the helicopter. We see Andy runs up to the helicopter as they take off, which this isn't going to end well. So
it's actually surprising. Like this is another choice movies don't make anymore.
As they get up in the air, Andy starts attacking like them both, but like he's like going after Tim first, and he's like, "You gotta throw your brother out," and then then Andy starts attacking Marty, and then Marty throws Andy out of the helicopter. We hold on him as he's falling away, on a green screen. He's like pointing at them and open mouth screaming, and and presumably a child just hits the ground, and the pod people just kind of look at it and just move on like nothing happened. So.
Yeah, it was definitely a not very special effect.
Yeah, I mean the emotion of it, you caught on to it, but it was also. It wasn't the greatest special effect, so it's like...
I thought for a moment, because I had to rewatch the scene, I thought like she got a gun
okay
from Tim and like shot him out of the helicopter.
Okay.
It took me a minute to realize, oh no, she just threw him out, because like that's even more brutal.
Yeah, just pick him up and chuck him. So.
Yeah, it's okay.
Then we leave off. We kind of hang on General Platt, and he says, "Let him go. No one will believe them anyway." And then we cut to Tim and Marty are just like going around and blowing up the pod trucks with a helicopter because it's got some missile pods on it, so they're just firing away at it. And it doesn't seem like she's helping, but she's got like a thing on, but you don't see her like pointing things out or anything like that. She's just kind of with him. So
yeah.
Although I don't know necessarily what a co-pilot's supposed to do in a helicopter, anyways. But there's a lot of shit going on in a
I know in the Apaches they like sit front to back
yeah. They also have that tracking helmet, so you can just look at the things you want shot. So, but but you have to aim the helicopters. So.
This is more like a Vietnam era attack helicopter.
Yeah. And then they just like come back and blow up the whole army base. I don't know how long this chopper's hanging around. It seems like they were just flying around shooting things for like a week, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. You don't get because there's more voiceover while this is going on.
Then we see them pull into and land at an Atlanta airport, and then we have voiceover by Marty saying they get you in your sleep. You can only stay awake for so long, kind of like hinting at like the inevitability of the pod people taking over. And then as they're landing, we have like somebody kind of like emotionally or professionally landing the helicopter, and then we get the repeated Meg Tilly line of like where are you gonna go, like where are you gonna run, where are you gonna hide, repeated, but it's in like a lower octave, like they adjusted it to make it weird. So
like slowed it down a little bit.
Yeah. And that is Body Snatchers. So decent, quick, like B-level sci-fi horror movie. So
yeah, it's kind of another product of the 90s. That's an interesting little piece. It's like, yeah, we'll give you what did this movie get? It was like $30 million.
That seems about right.
Yeah. No, 12 million. No, they got
okay.
Million. Okay, that seems to make.
I did read a line of Abel Ferrara saying like we had this army base to ourselves and all this money, so maybe I don't know, maybe he's just a frugal director and this is like all the money in the world he could ask for. So.
Yeah.
But also, it's not really like huge vistas or anything like that. But and like this ending here with, I mean, I guess like when they're blowing up that base, that's a lot of explosions going on. They are pretty cool explosions. So
Yeah, oh yeah.
I kind of just talked over it, but there is like that base explodes for like 5 minutes, and there's a lot of huge explosions. So blowing up fences and buildings and cars flipping over. Got some
Yeah,
Broncos.
do pretty. They kind of has a good finale, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you can. We're sitting here probing space containing these supercut of scenes of the imperfect collection that make up the Verhoeven Effect. Nathan, what one scene from this movie are you chucking into space?
Oh,
It's got to be the best scene, right?
Yeah, it's got to be the scene that everyone remembers from this movie.
Okay.
It's like, where are you going to go? Where are you going to run? Where are you going to hide? Nowhere, because there's no one like you left. I know you're frightened, Steve. I know you're scared, but understand, it's all going to be better. All you have to do is go to sleep. Yeah, there's a whole extended monologue.
Yeah.
Where it's also like kind of convincing.
Yeah.
It's I mean, I would probably go like more the Forrest Whitaker route, but
not gonna get my soul.
Well, not gonna help you.
You can find us on Letterboxd username VHE. 1 out of 5 stars. What are we giving Body Snatchers?
I'm gonna give Body Snatchers 3 stars.
Okay, that seems about
for
right.
some fun stuff, but also for kind of a disjointed story.
Yeah.
There's a reason like this isn't like it's getting a remastered release. It's like it's kind of that it's one of those 90s products where it's like sort of like, let's try this independent weird film stuff with directors and known properties that are unusual and see what happens.
Yeah.
In this case, it didn't. It seemed like the studio started losing confidence as time went on. I mean, I guess they wanted like Stephen King to do a pass on this script and stuff, and he looked at it and said, yeah, this is perfect, just film it. So there was a lot of people. Warner Brothers tried to get a lot of people involved in this.
I mean, I guess this was around the time of like the time of the indie directors, so maybe they were trying to like, hey, let's incorporate them into the Hollywood system. So.
Yeah, that is exactly what this is. It's like, this is a known property. We last visited this in '78, and then before that in the '50s. So yeah, let's try this. Maybe this time will be a charm.
Well, you can find us on verhoeffect.com. You can rate our podcast on whatever platform you're listening on. But the only thing the algorithm listens to is the highest rating. So give us the highest rating and confuse their algorithm. Confuse the AI. Our mediocrity is here to save your future.
Yeah. If they think that, if the machine intelligences think this is good, you're fine. You're okay.
We're lowering the bar for all of humanity.
That's right.
You can find us on Twitter at Verhoeven Effect. You can find us at Blue Sky Social at Verhoeven Effect, and you can find us at Facebook at Verhoeven Effect, and you can find us at American. You can find us on YouTube at American Greed Factory and watch both this and that show live and unedited. So for the Verhoeven Effect podcast, I'm Conlon,
and I'm Nathan.
Goodbye, America.